in the face of a firestorm.
It's gone, man. No, we might be able to get it.
Crews risk their lives to save homes from a relentless ember attack. The blaze ignited yesterday afternoon. An ominous glow lit up Perth's north as it burned through the night. It took little more than a spark for tinder-dry scrub to erupt in flames.
We were still getting the fire spotting 1 kilometre ahead of where the fire front was, and rates have spread up to 3.5 kilometres an hour were experienced yesterday afternoon.
The threat far from over today. Dry bushland and winds in the middle of our heatwave, making the firefight even tougher.
It is important to note that their efforts have ensured that there has been no loss of human life.
10 properties destroyed, as well as a number of sheds, many more in danger. The inferno within metres of homes, residents braving searing heat to defend their livelihoods, even tackling the blaze head on.
Very scary. We had little spot fires in our property, but luckily nothing went fully crazy, but we could have easily lost everything if it wasn't for my dad and his machinery.
The conditions are unpredictable. A wind change early this afternoon has put this tiny cul-de-sac under threat. You can see there are flames which are at tree height behind us. There are dozens of firefighting crews there trying to defend a number of properties which are now in the direct line of sight of the fire. This cul-de-sac saved, despite flames reaching the gutters of one house.
Because they're just constantly at it and they're saving lives. It's just unbelievable what they do. Hats off to them. I need to buy them cartons of beer or something, I think. I'm so grateful.
Other locals didn't take any chances and were ready to flee.
We're just all prepared and going to get these horses out if we can, if it gets any closer. So we're just waiting and seeing, and hopefully the wind stays how it is and we won't have to move.
Crews are in it for the long haul, up against unforgiving conditions. It's set to take days to get the upper hand. The cause still unknown.
This is a significant fire. As we've said, as we've been saying over the past few weeks, we will have a long, hot and dry summer.
For the latest on the fire emergency, Stephen Thomas joins us live from Jandabub. Steve, the threat is far from over.
Yeah, Nat, there are still some very challenging days ahead. Today's firefight has been very volatile. The behaviour of flames described as extreme. Now, if you take a look behind me, you can see this is one of the very close calls today. Now, this was saved from a mammoth, tireless effort by dozens of people, and crews admit that the house would have gone up in flames if it wasn't for the bulldozer and other machinery which were stationed here. But no one is out of the woods just yet. The blaze is still very much out of control. There are flare-ups and spot fires which are threatening properties still within the warning area. So far, more than 1,700 hectares of land has been charred, but tonight is going to be crucial. There are favourable conditions on the way. The winds are expected to drop off, and crews will be using that to their advantage because there are some strong northeasterlies which will be back tomorrow morning. But sadly, not everyone has been as lucky as this homeowner, and it's still going to be some time until we have a full extent of the damage. A catastrophic blaze that's gripped Perth's north. It's destroyed properties, burnt through thousands of hectares and left families homeless. Today, some welcome relief. Cooler than expected weather, allowing crews to gain the upper hand.
It certainly has been a challenging 48 hours for both the community and firefighters, but we have made significant progress in bringing this fire under control.
But the extent of the damage is also becoming clearer. Confirmation 18 homes have been destroyed, as well as more than 30 other buildings, including sheds.
To those that have lost their homes and their property, your loss is felt strongly by all of us in emergency services.
While others were spared. The inferno came within metres of Joe Hawkins' doorstep yesterday, trees and gutters catching alight.
It was fierce, man. It just took off, you know. It's unbelievable.
Andrew Hunton risking his life to help save the property, tackling the blaze head-on with his front-end loader.
Went to go turn around and the fire was right behind me, so I literally had to just drive through the fire and get out of there as quick as I could.
Crews admit the home would have gone up in flames if it wasn't for the machinery.
Totally grateful, yeah. And they've done a wonderful job.
It was pretty hectic at times, very scary, but sort of felt like I needed to get done, so I just sort of made it happen.
This is close to where the blaze first ignited, but it took off quickly. Strong winds pushed embers up to 1 kilometre ahead of the fire front. Residents left with little time to defend. Those affected eligible for relief payments from the state government. $4,000 for properties razed by the fire, $2,000 for those partially damaged. The COVID quarantine facility in Bullsbrook, which has sat empty, now housing residents with nowhere to go.
It's come on quickly. This has been a particularly nasty spring heat wave, and it's going to be, I think, the foretells a particularly nasty hot summer.
For the latest on the fire situation, Stephen Thomas joins us live from Jandabub. Steve, crews have made even further progress this afternoon.
Yeah, Nat, they have. There was 180 firefighters on the ground today building fire breaks, strengthening containment lines and dealing with any flare-ups that occurred. As it stands, about 95% of the blaze is contained and it's charred just under 2,000 hectares of land. Late this afternoon, the warning was downgraded to a watch and act, but that does not mean that the threat is over. Conditions could change rapidly at any moment, so residents still need to remain vigilant. Now, those containment lines that the crews have helped build today, thanks to those more favourable conditions, will really be tested over the weekend. We've got temperatures forecasted to hit 39 degrees, and there is a chance of a thunderstorm with some dry lightning, which could then therefore spark blazes. So, Nat, no one is out of the woods just yet. This firefight isn't over.
Thanks, Stephen.